Hello, everyone. I'm John Howe, the financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, and this is another episode of John's Top Tips. Today, we're going to talk about how we can start saving, how we can start putting some money aside for a rainy day, or how we can start actually saving for retirement. So, we're going to dive right in. The first thing that we're going to want to keep in mind is that we're going to have to rely on our budget. So we're going to have to put together a good budget like we talked about in some of our previous videos. And what we'll need to know is if our expenses outweigh our net income. That's what we're looking for here. If our expenses do outweigh our net income, then we have what we would call a deficit. We're running at a deficit, which means that we're spending more money than we're bringing in. And if we do have a deficit, well, we need to take a look at some areas where we can cut back on our expenses so that we can start to have a healthier financial picture. We'll do this by taking a hard look at our budget, that budget that we keep talking about, and looking for some areas where we might be able to pull back on spending so that we can actually increase that savings. Then, once we have some money that we can start setting aside and start using for some purposes for the future or for building that rainy day fund, we're going to be concerned with exactly what we're going to do with that, how we're going to save it, what we should prioritize first, second, and third. First of all, typically when we have a surplus, we're looking to fill up our emergency fund first. If you remember, we talked about an emergency fund before. We're looking at about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses that we want to have built up in some kind of a bank account that's readily accessible for us. Once we're done there, we're going to look at paying down high interest debt. That the credit card debt is going to be killing us. Interest rates in the 15 to 20% range. Those are really going to be pulling us back and weighing on our financial future. So that's our second target. And then the third target is to dump money into our retirement accounts. There is one little caveat to all of this in this order of operations that we're talking about, in that if we're still saving or if we're in the process of maybe we've gotten our emergency fund and we're trying to look at what's next, we want to make sure to prioritize putting away enough into our employer-sponsored retirement plan so that we're getting the match. A lot of employers will match a certain percentage of the amount of money that you put into your retirement account as kind of an incentive to get you to save. That's free money for you, so you should be capitalizing on that and taking advantage of that as much as you possibly can. If you need some tips or some guides on how to budget, how to set up an emergency fund or anything like that, you can visit our resources page. Our website is gencapmanagementmgmt.com. You can check that website out, scroll through. We've got a bunch of different guides for you that can walk you through the process of setting up a budget and, again, figuring out exactly what you might need in terms of an emergency fund. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help you. Again, my name is John Howe. I'm the financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, and this was John's Top Tips.